Right, I'm back in the beautiful Loxley Valley on this lovely day, and I'm here at the Marshall's site, and I want to walk down and talk about the Wraggs site opposite Wraggs Pond, because when you look at the whole Hetworth site as it's known on a map, it's really kind of, you can split it into three different sites. So this is a site up nearest the water treatment works, and I just want to walk down to the Wraggs Pond site and have a look at that. So this is the site that I'm proposing has a kind of wildlife centre as its main attraction, with a load of car parking there. So if we come down past this beautiful weir, historic weir, you can see over there how high that land is above the river. So it's probably around about, once we've dropped below that weir, it's around about 12 to 15 foot, I would say. And so when the river floods, as it is now, obviously this path I'm walking on is much lower than over there. So if the river gets this high, it will flood into here first before it goes over there. But to decrease the chance of flooding, to act as an extra flood alleviation system, what I'm proposing is that the area that's opposite Wraggs Pond, and I'm not talking about the bit that's right down past the red brick building where Sheffield Insulation Group has the kind of lorry park. I'm talking about this part that I'm just coming up to now. This is the lowest part of the site, so it makes good sense to take away all the concrete on this site, obviously all the rundown buildings, and use it as a floodplain. So we've got an old road here, but there's this water here, I don't know if it's a burst water pipe or if it's a natural stream, just seems to be running permanently. And so obviously kids have kind of been in here, I would imagine. So let's take a look at the site. So as you can see, I'm going down now. I'm actually walking downhill still. So this site is a good 6, 7, I don't know, maybe 8 feet lower than the site just on the other side of the river there for the kind of wildlife centre. And as you can see, this is actually a huge site. Now what I'm proposing, as I say, that is done here is that, you know, maybe the Environment Agency needs to get involved, and that's probably where the majority of the funding will come from. But all of this will be cleared away. All of this concrete would be taken away, all this hard standing, and this ground would be, I mean, this might be at a perfect height now, but areas could be lowered, maybe odd area risen a little bit. What I'm thinking of, the template I'm thinking of, is the Sheffield and Rotherham Wildlife Trust Centenary Riverside, just on the banks of the River Don in Rotherham there, that to me is just a fantastic wildlife site and flood alleviation scheme. it just does the business. It does what it says on the tin. It's very successful, and this, I feel, could be even better because I would imagine it's bigger than that. Now, I don't know, I'm not going to go in there, but obviously the river is just behind there. I don't know how far down behind that wall the river is. I don't want to, it's all asbestos this, and I really don't want to go in there because all you've got to have is just one little piece falling down, and yeah, not nice stuff. So no, I'm not going in there. But yeah, just look at the size of it. I mean, it's huge. So if all this went back to nature, acted as a series of ponds, and were allowed to flood when the river floods, you're not only protecting my proposed wildlife centre back up there, but you're also protecting everything down the valley at Malin Bridge, Hillsborough, and further into the city centre and the Lower Don Valley. Because when you've got, I mean, this site could potentially hold millions of gallons of water. And if there's millions of gallons of water up here, then it's not down there flooding the River Don. And so when we have an opportunity like this of a derelict brownfield site, to me it's a no-brainer. I know, the issue is with cost and but as I said, these things need to be done. We are having a climate emergency, and there are issues around climate change and flooding. And the way I see it is that whatever the cost is to do what I'm suggesting to this site, however much that costs now, that's a huge investment for the future in how many properties will be protected from flooding, for having the business disrupted, having to put in insurance claims. Surely it's got to be worth it. If you create something like this now, you're investing for potentially hundreds of years ahead, especially if you can get somebody like Sheffield and Rotherham Wildlife Trust, who knows, maybe RSPB as well, to kind of come in and manage the reserve, manage the site. As I've said before on other videos, almost like a kind of mini Potterick car. Have ponds with reed beds in, and maybe bird hides, the odd bird hide built. So let's come round here. Imagine all this just in winter, just all flooded, all water, with lots of wading birds and all sorts of wildlife here. That's a bit now if we go over here, how far that goes over there. All this gone, and all of this rewilded. Wonderful. It would be fantastic. It would be just out of this world for this valley, for this area. you know, like Centenary Riverside, it could be open for walkers, people just wandering through, not just Centenary Riverside, but any Sheffield and Rotherham Wildlife Trust site. All that removed, because that's a kind of high bank there. You know, that could be a channel there for the river to flood into, one of the first channels, so you could layer your different levels that flood at different times maybe. And then as we come over here, I think that's the back of the red brick building there. Just have a little look in here again. Huge! What a huge site. And I think that's the back of that red brick building. So that could be, you know, a community centre, cafe in. You could access it from there maybe, walkers, give them an alternative route through. You know, so as I say, if all this is lowered by several feet, once you take all this concrete away, you could maybe even raise that land a little bit to, you know, just protect that building there from flooding. I mean, it's already, you know, it's just in the perfect position for something like this. You've already got the trees there. You've already got wildlife here. So, you know, let's use what we have. Oh no, it's not that red brick building. Let's just have a quick look over here then. Red brick building must be behind here at some point. Not sure what this is, but yeah, that could come down. Not sure. There it is. Right, those containers, and there's the red brick building. So yeah, this could come down. Doesn't need to be there. Could be a little bit of car parking here for the community centre. What a site, what a potential site for wildlife. Oh, we have a bridge. So obviously that's the other kind of Wraggs site where there's still the Sheffield Insulation Group lorry park, and I think it's Spur, is it? A kind of car place or something. Now that could remain as it is because those companies are still viable, or, you know, potentially relocate those businesses and allow a small number of houses on that site there, because you've got a community centre then. You've got the bowling green, which is just past the red brick building down there. You can relocate SRG and that Spur and build maybe up to 50 homes there. I think is something that will be acceptable to most in the community. what a fantastic site. I think you have to see it, actually be here and see it in 3 dimensions to get an idea of the scale of it. This could be a major floodplain for the entire city. And of course, not just on its own, but with other things that are happening as well, with more tree planting out in the Peak District, with more of the Peak Park blocking up some of the channels so that you keep the water up in the Peak District and bring back some of the bogland up there that was drained for grouse shooting. You know, not everywhere, because you want to retain the certain aspects of the moorland, the heather moorland. It's a bit muddy here. Not got the right footwear on. And just go over here. I mean, imagine having multiple paths just being able to wander through. Maybe the old bridge going over, you know, ponds and lakes and right to the back here. We can go right back here. Got another, you know, public footpath just at the other side there, where the pond is and the channel that leads to the pond. But imagine that scene there with all these buildings removed. Imagine being sat here on a beautiful day like today, with just the backdrop of the woodland reflected in various lakes, with, you know, reeds just gently blowing in the breeze, and birds fluttering around, and butterflies and dragonflies, and heaven, absolute heaven. Heaven, paradise, just. Why wouldn't you want to do it? Why wouldn't you want to work hard and find the public funds necessary? Work with the Wildlife Trust, work with RSPB, work with the Peak Park, work with Yorkshire Water, work with the Environment Agency, work with the Lottery Fund, National Lottery. It's just, oh, we've got a peacock. Is it a peacock? No, it isn't. It's a yeah, go on. Tortoiseshell. Yeah, frustrating when this could just have, you know, say approximately 100 of the 300 houses that are proposed just plonked on it. And as a floodplain, what you would then have to do is you have to widen the river, which means taking all the trees out from the side of the river, similar to what they've done out at the Outerbridge paper mill, former Outerbridge paper mill, and canalise the river, widen the river, and take all the trees out. And that's the way that you relieve flooding or that's the way that they've done it in that location, and that's the only way that you could do it in this location if you want to put houses on every bit of concrete on these 3 sites. But if this site is used as a floodplain, you can keep the river as it is, you can build the 50 odd or up to 50 houses down there on that site, and you can have a wildlife centre up on the site up there. You know, and other environmental improvements up there as well. So it will be potentially a win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win for everybody. Even a property developer who wants to make a small amount of money, a small amount of profit from the 50 homes on the other Wraggs site. So anyhow, that's 20 minutes of me waffling on, but I so desperately want this to happen. It's just so frustrating. I just don't know what else to do, other than just keep pushing my ideas forward in any way, shape or form that I can. Right, I'll leave it there for now in the beautiful, beautiful Loxley Valley. Bye for now.